Salutations everyone, my name is Razor and today we are going over a perk analysis of Call of Duty Ghosts. Now there have been a lot of misleading information given out to you by lots of people. A lot of people who just don't know their Call of Duty, that don't want to put time and effort into making their information accurate. But as you guys know, I'm not there for the quick vid for all the views. I'm just there to give accurate information as well as my analysis on it as well, which no one has really given so far. So today what I want to go over is the Call of Duty perks, because that's the one thing that we pretty much know everything about. We know how it's going to be implemented into the system, we know what they are, and we pretty much know exactly how they're all going to handle, with some small mathematical intricacies that we don't have the data on yet and probably won't until the game is out, in which case this video will become irrelevant. So I'm going to go over the perks here. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of handled as a hybrid between Black Ops 2 Pick 10 system and Homefront's perk system, in that everything is given a specific value. Not everything is absolutely equal, which was one of the flaws in Black Ops 2's Pick 10 system. Everything was valued equally, which didn't really work in the system. It kind of made for some imbalances. For instance, putting an attachment on your secondary shouldn't have been as valuable as staying off the radar or something like that. You guys know what I mean. So I'm going to start going over the perks here. As you can see, they are handled into 7 different categories, which is really not that important. You can mix and match with whatever you want. You don't have to pick one from each or stick to one. You can mix and match with whatever you want. So they're just broken up into vague categories: speed, handling, stealth, awareness, resistance, equipment, and delay, just to give you a vague idea on what they each do. So let's get right into it. So we might as well start at the top here with speed, which gives us perks that we are all very much familiar with. Nothing new here. Starting off with quick draw, which allows you to aim down sight with any weapon almost 2 times faster than normal. So expect this going to be on not just the quick scopers perk loadout, but many other people as well, because this comes at the low price of only 1 point. So we can expect this to be on most people's loadout, especially those people with the sniper rifles that we'd love to encounter oh so often. Next up, we have Sleight of Hand here at 2 points. The return of Sleight of Hand, man, the king has returned. Black Ops 2, the only modern Call of Duty to not feature Sleight of Hand as a perk. It is back, and much thanks to Infinity Ward for bringing back Sleight of Hand. At least you've gotten that right so far. Those fast mags in Black Ops 2 just were not cutting it. I missed you, Sleight of Hand. Glad to have you back. Allows you to reload 2 times faster than normal, which is going to be very useful in a variety of different game styles. Next up, we have Agility for 2 points, which is basically your good old lightweight. Allows you to walk and sprint faster than normal. This isn't going to affect your mantling speed or peeking around corners or your slides, so it's just walking and sprinting. It's going to make you a little bit faster. That's what we're all used to, and it's going to cost you 2 big old points. Next up, we have Marathon. Allows you to sprint 2 times longer than normal. I guess our unlimited sprint is an extinct perk that we probably will not be able to see again, which is very sad. I think unlimited sprint is the only way to make this perk competitive with the others, especially it being 2 points. It just doesn't seem worth it, but Marathon is always going to find its niche, whether it be people who just want to run around and knife people, only use me blade style, or if you're a flag runner on Capture the Flag, Marathon is always going to be a staple for that type of gameplay. And last up here we have, obviously by the look of the of a little character here, it's going to be Stalker, which making its return from Modern Warfare 3, or if you have only played Black Ops 2, is the adjustable stock, because it allows you to move faster while aiming down sight. Basically gives you 100% walking speed while you're ADSing, and this will not be affected by agility. At least it didn't in any of the previous games, and no word on yet if agility and Stalker will stack to make you move even faster while ADSing, but I doubt that would be the case, just because of the game mechanics with Stalker enabled you to walk speed. I don't think that's just the programmers would put in the effort and time to make that sort of change, so don't expect those two to stack. But Stalker will cost you 2 points. Very effective, very popular. So let's move on to handling. So over here in handling, you start off with your 1 point handling perk, and that's called Strong Arm, which allows you to throw equipment a longer distance, as well as allowing you to cook grenades faster. Now, right off the bat, it doesn't seem like this perk be very useful, because like throw grenades further, they already go pretty far, and who cares if you can cook grenades faster. But with the new additions, what is new with Call of Duty Ghosts, this actually might be more useful than it would be in another COD. If you've looked at the footage from anyone playing Ghosts so far, you notice that their grenades, both tactical and lethal, don't seem to go as far as we're used to in, say, Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 3. Remember in Black Ops, the first one, grenades didn't seem to go as far as they did in Modern Warfare 2. It doesn't seem, maybe they won't even go that far. It's kind of hard to tell without doing a test run, but being able to throw your equipment farther away might not be such a bad thing. Allow you to cook grenades faster. Maybe with your frags, this only comes kind of in handy, but with the 9 bang tactical grenade, this will be very, very useful, because the 9 bang allows you to charge this puppy up to 9 levels, I think, and after it hits that final level, it becomes an EMP grenade, which is going to be very useful to take out all those MCOM UAV stations that people are going to be throwing all over the map. So maybe equip this puppy with your sit rep, find all those MCOM radar arrays, and be able to take them out from a further, safer distance, while cooking your 9 bang grenades faster. So it is only 1 point as well, so wouldn't be surprised if this was be implemented more often than people would think, especially since it is an odd numbered point system. It does go to 11, so let's say you pick 5 2-point perks. This 1 pointer, there's not a lot of 1 point perks out there. There's only 1 in each category, so this one might be useful in certain situations. But moving on the go, this is a new one. Allows you to reload while sprinting. Pretty self-explanatory there by the picture given to us. This is going to cost you 2 points. Not sure how useful it's going to be. It doesn't seem like it's worth the 2 points, but who knows? You do have sleight of hands, so reloading isn't going to be as crucial, say like in Black Ops 2 when you just didn't have that fast reload. But who knows? Depends on what your game style is going to be. Depends on how certain weapons are going to handle. Maybe if it's something that you need to reload constantly, like a shotgun or something, or a pistol that just doesn't have a lot of rounds that you'll expend very quickly and need to reload more often than your typical weapon, then maybe this will be more useful. Moving on, we got Reflex, which is pretty self-explanatory. The picture there, you get to swap your primary and grenades faster. Scout Pro from Black Ops 1, and it has another iteration right here in Reflex. That's going to cost you 2 points. Don't see a lot of use here unless you're going for like pistol swapping or overkill swapping, for montage clips or something. But some people are going to find use with the Reflex. It's going to cost you 2 points. And moving on, going on to Steady Aim, which I'm glad they have foregone the whole weapon enhancing things to be attachments. They've gotten rid of that. I'm glad that Steady Aim is back as a perk. That's the way that it felt that it should be. It just worked better. It balances things out to have it actually be a perk, because it seemed too strong as an attachment that anyone could have, no matter what that they're using. So glad to see that that's back. It's going to cost you 2 points. Hip fire accuracy by all guns, reducing the spread by 35%. It's what we're used to. It's a oldie but a goodie. It's going to cost you 2 points. Good to see it back. So now hopefully whenever we're able to akimbo our pistols or whatever we're akimboing, we'll be able to have a tighter hip spread, which is something that was taken away from us in Black Ops 2. And last but not least, we have Dexterity here, which is going to cost you 2 points. Allows you to aim faster after sprinting, which is your Steady Aim Pro from Black Ops 2, or your Dexterity from the past couple games as well. So that's going to be very useful for your rushing people as well as your quickscopers. So that's going to be a 2-pointer, and it's going to be quite useful in a variety of game modes. Moving on now to the ever so popular stealth perks. Okay, so with the first one we got going here is Takedown, a new perk, which as you can tell by the emblem, it means the skull above a dead teammate will no longer appear for your enemies. So it'll disable that for any time you take someone out. It's not going to be, as obvious in previous games that one of your opponent's teammates has been killed. So kind of helps you stay off of their peripheral vision of seeing that skull above someone's body. But that's not really something that many of the let's say common COD players are used to spotting and using. That's really a tactic that only your more advanced players pick up on and utilize. So this probably won't be as useful when it comes to just your regular pub matches. But it is only 1 point. So if you feel like it's going to help you, it's not going to cost you that much. But at the same time, it's not an effect that you're going to be able to see if it has an effect or not, because you won't be able to tell when that's going to help you out when one of your opponents doesn't realize that a teammate is gone because there's no skull above their head. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be that useful. It's a nice little addition for those that want it, and it's going to be more useful when you're play say competitive COD, or in a search and destroy game where things are much more competitive and lives or things are at higher stakes, where something this minuscule seems to be more important. So I think it's a nice addition, but it is only 1 point, so can't really complain there. And it takes up a stealth perk, which they could have gone overboard with, as we all know. Next up, we have Blind Eye here. That'll cost you 2 points, which will have the enemy air support and sentry kill streaks. They won't detect you or shoot at you. You won't show up as a red diamond or square or triangle or whatever it's going to be when you're up in your air support, and these sentries won't shoot at you. So tried and true right there. Good old Blind Eye. Lots of people are going to use it, so get used to it. Next up, we have good old Off the Grid, your UAV jammer. Enemy SATCOM kill streaks and motion detectors will not show you on the enemy radar. No word yet if this will be a counter against the ping perk, which we'll get to later. But it doesn't say so in any descriptions that I've seen. Or as well as anyone's testimony from the game. So that's something that we don't know 100% about right now. But I don't think that it will counter the ping perk, which is kind of nice, because it already does enough. You won't show up on the SATCOMs, which might be more of a problem when it comes to another perk that we are going to get down to later down the line with wiretap. So it's going to be very popular. But maybe a lot of this game relies on that SATCOM, a lot of it. So it'll be interesting to see how people utilize both the SATCOMs as well as this perk. But you can be rest assured it's going to be very, very, very popular, as it has been in every single Call of Duty since Call of Duty Black Ops. Next up, we have good old Dead Silence. Allows you to walk, sprint, and jump at a reduced level of sound, almost silencing, not completely silent. Well, no word to see on how great sound whoring is going to be, but I think we can expect it to be more useful than in Black Ops and Black Ops 2, and more like it was in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, as it is an Infinity Ward game. And the fact that they do have Dead Silence as well as Eavesdrop in here, 2 sound whoring perks, so it's going to be more prevalent than in Black Ops 2. But we'll see how effective it is going to be. Nevertheless, it's still going to find its use in games like Search and Destroy, or when you just don't want to be detected as much. So it's a good old stealth perk, and it costs you 2 points. And lastly, we have Cold-Blooded, another 2-pointer. Prevents the red name and crosshair from appearing above you if the enemy targets you. So I'm glad that they really distributed what we know as Ghost from Black Ops 2 into Blind Eye, Off the Grid, and Cold-Blooded instead of just 1 or 2 perks. It is now 3, and if you're gonna want to use all of them, that's gonna cost you 6 of your potential 11 points. So it might not. People might have some bickering on what should or should not have been a 2 or 3 pointer. because, you know, full stealth is 100% possible with still a little wiggle room for other perks you want to use. So stealth, it's a lot of something that a lot of people like to complain about, but it's still something that pretty much everyone uses. So moving on to awareness. Making a return here in the awareness category is Recon, which will cost you 1 cost-efficient point. Causes damaged enemies to be marked on the radar as a red arrow. You know, pretty much exactly how Recon Pro acted in Modern Warfare 3. At least it seems like it. Doesn't say bullet damage. It doesn't, you know, specify explosive damage. So wouldn't be surprised if it was all damage. You know, tactical, lethal grenades as well as bullets, or, you know, score streaks. You know, if it comes to it. I'm glad to see it return. It was kind of a different way to play the game if you know, wanted to implement different strategies. And glad to see it return. It's only going to cost 1 point, and you know, we'll see how effective it's going to be with all the other stuff that has to combat with. Next up, we have Scavenger returning as a 2-point perk, replenishing ammo and equipment from killed enemies. No specifics on whether or not you can pick up explosives if they've been killed by an explosive, which wouldn't happen in Black Ops 2. But this being an Infinity Ward explosive happy developer, I think we can safely assume that it's going to replenish everything: claymores, Bettys, frag grenades, C4s, Simtexes, whatever the lethal grenades or lethal equipment is going to be, tomahawks, throwing knives, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's going to replenish all of those as well. So good to see it return. And it's actually been broken up into another perk later down the road. So you know, we'll get to that to see if they, you know, maybe there might be a mistake in there as well. But Scavenger, tried and true. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Next up, we got Sit Rep here for 2 points. As you know, it does what it always does: marks enemy equipment and explosive in red. I mean, that'll be your TAC inserts, your claymores or Bettys, you know, your IMSs or your SATCOMs. Those will all be any equipment of the enemy. You know, sentries, all that stuff's going to be visible. So, you know, that's going to be very useful in a variety of situations. And now it costs you 2 points. So I think they did that one right. Next up, we have Eavesdrop, which will cost you 2 points, which makes your enemies more louder. No word here if that's going to affect your teammates' footsteps, which it did in Modern Warfare 3, even though it didn't say that it did. There'll be no way of knowing until we can actually get some time in the game. So there's your second sound whoring perk. It also costs 2 points. So there you have it. Last up, we got a new one, Wiretap. This perk allows your deployed SATCOM, your 3-point or 4-point if using the support, UAV like kill streak, allows your deployed SATCOM, so you have to have one out, to hack into your enemy SATCOMs. So the hack SATCOMs will work normally for the enemy. They don't take the enemy SATCOMs away, so that'll still work for them, but it'll also work for you. And if, as you guys know, the SATCOMs stack in this game. One SATCOM will just give you radar on the direction that the SATCOM is facing. 2 will give you the sweeping UAV that we're all used to. 3 will give you a faster sweeping UAV, which we're all used to, you know, from previous games when there's multiple UAVs in the air. And 4 will give you your advanced UAV, or, you know, Blackbird, or orbital VSAT, whatever you want to call it. Of course, you know, this will be countered by your off-the-grid perk. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how Wiretap and Off the Grid, you know, work with each other, as well as the prevalence of SATCOMs, which of course we're all going to see at the beginning of the game, because I'm sure it's going to be one of the 3 kill streaks that everyone starts off with. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of SATCOMs at the beginning of the game, and you will be able to unlock any perk that you want at any given time. There are no level gates. It's just that the way that it works is you get these squad points, and some perks cost more squad points than others. So maybe at the beginning of the game you want to save up your squad points until you can unlock Wiretap, and then use that puppy as soon as you can, because, you know, the first month or 2 months of the game, and then once again when the Christmas noobs come out, there's going to be lots and lots of SATCOMs. So This might be a reason to balance out SATCOM usage, because you don't want your enemies to take advantage of your own, and it might be as well as a good counter against it. So it'll be interesting to see how off the grid and wiretap, as well as the prevalence of SATCOMs, all interact with each other. But nevertheless, I think you're going to see a lot of people using it, especially at the beginning of the game, probably at least when they first use it, to take advantage of that hacking stacking system. So there you go. It's going to cost you 2 points. Next up, we have Resistance. First one here, no fall damage, obviously by the picture. I believe it's being called lightweight. Okay, that's cool. Next up, we have Painkiller. Could have used a better name for this one, huh? Infinity Ward, you really had to be a dick on this one and scare a bunch of people when they heard that Painkiller was in the game. But that's obviously what the picture says. If you see that picture with that little pill with the plus sign, you know it's going to be Painkiller. But a lot of people didn't know what it was going to do at first. At first, some people were like, yes, all right, Juggernaut is back. You get extra health, or whatever it's going to be. But I held off my reservations on that one. I was like, no, maybe it's just regenerate your health faster, because that's something that we haven't seen. It would be new and useful and exciting, so maybe that could be it, and would also make sense with the actual picture, as well as the name Painkiller. And it turns out I was right. That's exactly what it does. It regenerates your health faster. No word yet on what rate it's going to be, but like I said at the beginning of this video, once we get the actual numbers of percentages of that out, this video is going to be irrelevant. So that's going to cost you 2 points. Regenerate your health faster. We'll have some trial and error, and all of us using this perk to see how useful it actually is. But it's something that a lot of people have been wanted to be implemented into the game. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. It could be overpowered, or it could be just a nice complement to, a couple of different strategies to play the game. Next up, we got Stopper, which why didn't you just call this Toughness? I mean, come on now. Stopper, it's basically Toughness. You'll flinch less when you're shot by the enemy, and it also reduces the amount of redness or blood or jelly or jam, whatever it is they throw at your screen. So that'll cost you 2 points. We saw not so many people use it as Hardened Pro in Black Ops 1. We saw a few people use it in Modern Warfare 3, and we saw a ton of people use it in Black Ops 2. So wouldn't be surprised to see this be a very, very prevalent perk in everyone's loadout, especially since it's only going to cost you 2 points. So it is what it is. We'll see how widely it's going to be used. Next up, we have TAC Resist, which is going to cost you 2 points. Makes you immune to tactical grenades like flashbangs, stun grenades, and EMPs, which I'm sure will include the 9-bang grenade. So there's going to be an EMP counter in this game, which you might say that they countered it by having you to charge this grenade 9 times. Once again, with that faster charging ability with Strong Arm, that might kind of relegate that a little bit. But it's nice to have a little tactical grenade resistance, especially when it comes to those annoying ass flashbangs and stuff. It's something that it's going to annoy us all in certain play styles. It's really going to hurt them. So that'll cost you 2 points, and to complement that, we have Blast Shield, which will also cost you 2 points. Reduces all explosive damage that you take. So that's going to make return. No one's going to know yet if it's going to be useful or not, because we all saw it as an equipment in Modern Warfare 2. Didn't really do shit, and it took away your heads-up display, so not a lot of people used it, even though explosives were king in Modern Warfare 2, as we all know. And then Flak Jacket came out in Black Ops 1, which was amazing. It worked perfectly. It wasn't overpowered. It was balanced, and it was good. It was a counter against explosives, which hadn't really been in the game in a useful manner until Flak Jacket came out. And then Modern Warfare 3 happened. It came out with Blast Shield, which was supposed to do everything that Flak Jacket did in Black Ops 1, but it didn't. It didn't so much. The reduced explosive damage was not to the same resistance that it did in previous games. So Blast Shield was pretty useless in Modern Warfare 3. And as you guys know, if you've played any hardcore in Modern Warfare 3, it didn't work at all. It had absolutely no effect whatsoever when it came to explosive damage. So we're not going to know until the game comes out to see if Blast Shield actually works in hardcore or not. It did in Black Ops. It didn't in Modern Warfare 3, and it did in Black Ops 2, so Will it follow the Infinity Ward trend, or will it follow the actually make sense and be fair to all people who play whatever plays they want to play trend? And this will be definitely something in a lot of people's loadouts, even more so than in previous titles, because Danger Close is making its return. And we'll get to that in a bit. Next up, we have equipment. An extra tactical equipment. Nothing new there. 1 point. Nice and cheap. I think that's fair and balanced, having it only be 1 point, as well as an option to everyone. No word yet if that will exclude smoke grenades, as it has in every single COD title to date. You've never been able to have more than one smoke grenade, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was still the case in this game. But we'll see. Maybe there's not even a smoke grenade. I'm not entirely sure at this point. Next up, for 2 points, you get an extra lethal equipment. That's cool. That's tried and true. A lot more people will be using this with, once again, the advent of Danger Close, which we will get to later. Next up, we have a slightly new perk. Not really. It's Bandolier, although they call it fully loaded. It gives you extra magazines for your weapons, which started off as Bandolier in COD 4, and then came out as part of Scavenger or Scavenger Pro in games after that, but has since been separated from that. So this will be very interesting, because in most loadouts and most weapon strategies, it doesn't really make sense for you to start with more magazines when with the same amount of 2 points could be just used with Scavenger to basically give a never-ending supply, as long as you keep picking up those blue packets that people drop. So why would people use fully loaded when they could use Scavenger? Well, fully loaded makes it so that you get more ammunition from the start, which you didn't have in Modern Warfare 3 Scavenger Pro. So let's say with weapons that don't have a lot of ammunition at the start, say like the AA-12 for Modern Warfare 3, you were only able to kill like 5 people before you ran out of ammo with that gun, so you needed Scavenger with that, but at the same time you needed sleight of hand, so the only way you can really do that was Specialist with Hardline, so you had to work around that. So we'll see if that's the case again, but also you might think more people would use fully loaded as opposed to Scavenger if they just want to camp. They don't want to put themselves in harm's way by going into where their enemy was to pick up that Scavenger pack, when they can just stay in the back in their nice comfortable corner and just use the extra magazines that they started with, and it gives them more ammunition. They don't have to move to get more ammo, and this way they start with more ammo. So this might be a pro camping perk, if you will, of people just hiding in a corner with whatever weapon, and this way they get more ammo, but they don't need to pick up a Scavenger pack. So we'll see if that's the case or not. Next up, we have one of the 2 attachments that was not unlocked during the multiplayer event. It obviously gives you an extra attachment, a 4th attachment, by the way. Attachments are handled a little differently here in Call of Duty Ghosts. You get 3 attachments from the get-go, and these 3 attachments can be distributed between either your primary or your secondary. You can have 3 attachments on your primary and none on your secondary. You might not even have a secondary. Or you could have 2 on your primary and 1 on your secondary, or you can have 1 on your primary and 2 on your secondary. No word yet if you can have 3 on your secondary. I don't know if that's a possibility. Wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, because no Call of Duty likes to treat secondaries equally with primary weapons. They treat them as if they were stronger weapons than primaries, which doesn't make sense whatsoever. But I think that's kind of nice, and this gives you a chance to have 4 attachments on one gun, or 2 on your primary, 2 on your secondary, or 3 on your primary and 1 on your secondary. So this frees up more people to do more things that they want to do. So who knows? It'll depend on what the attachments are to see how often this is used. I wouldn't expect it to be used that much, especially since you can have 3 attachments on your primary from the get-go. You don't see many people using a pick 10 point on a attachment in their secondary, if they do use a secondary in Black Ops 2. Because most people want to stick to their primaries, and with the advent of suppressors and red dots and grips and noob tubes, I think people are just going to be just fine having those weapons on all the attachments on their primary, and not really caring about the secondary. So I don't see this being used very often as it has in really any other iteration outside of the attachments to proficiency in Modern Warfare 3, but as you know, this is handled a little bit differently, so we'll see. Next up, we have one of the 3-point perks, Danger Close. This is a smack your head moment. That's Infinity Ward had the audacity to put Danger Close back into this game. Sonic Boom was a problem in COD 4 with those already insanely powerful, frags as well as martyrdom, and it was one of the game-breaking parts of the one-man army noob tube combo in Modern Warfare 2. Don't know why they brought it back. They shouldn't have brought it back. It's going to bring nothing but pain. It's going to be a noob perk. It only costs 3 points out of the 8, 9, 10, or 11 that you will have available to you. I see it as an immediate red flag, an imbalance in the game right out the get-go. Once again, no specific mathematical equation has been given on what extra damage you're going to be given, and or if it also increases radius. The perks descriptions have always been kind of vague and or incorrect with this type of stuff, but it's gonna be a problem. I can tell you that, with the inclusion of noob tubes being an attachment, which will be as prevalent as they've ever been in Infinity Ward games. The fact that you can have an extra lethal grenade, and people will say that the advocates of Danger Close will be like, yes, Danger Close is back. I can noob tube. I can use my grenade launcher War Machine secondary, which, yes, is in the game. War Machine is now a secondary. It's a six grenade noob tube that you can use. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, especially with Danger Close. But the advocates, all the noobs who are excited for Danger Close to be back, who don't really rely on skill, they just rely on grenade launchers to do all the work for them, they'll say, hey, there's a counter to this. It's Blast Shield. And another smack head moment there. Blast Shield is balances out against explosives. It helps you against explosives. Vanilla explosives. Nothing, however, will protect you from Danger Close explosives. Now you can say, well, the Danger Close plus the Blast Shield will cancel each other out, so it'll be like no one has anything on. Well, then you're not really protecting yourself against anything now, are you? So that's an immediate red flag. It's 3 points, which is probably going to be too low. You're going to see a lot of people use this, and I can tell you right now, it's going to be very annoying, and it's probably going to be a problem. So next on to the final category, the Elite. First up, we have Gambler here, which is very interesting. It's only 1 point, and it will give you a random perk. Including one that you've already selected. If it gives you one that you've already selected, it's basically like you're just wasting a point. It won't double up like some people have been saying on the internet. Idiots. That would not work in a game engine whatsoever, so obviously these people have no idea how video games work anyways. So it just gives you a random perk, and it only costs you 1 point. So it's probably going to benefit. It will benefit you because this Gambler only costs you 1 point, and most perks cost you 2 points, and nothing costs 0 points or half a point. So it's always going to be an advantage unless it gives you a perk that you already have. So, but at the same time, you don't know what perk it's going to be, so you won't be able to get, like, let's say Danger Close every single time, or Sleight of Hand, or Deadeye, or whatever it is. It'll be random every single time. So maybe that randomness will shy some people away, but maybe some people who just do the math say, hey, most of the time it's going to work in my favor, so I'm going to give it a go. It's a different perk every single time you respawn, though. So maybe all you have to do is die until you get the perk that you want, and then just camp your little ass off. Or it's just a little piece of randomness in the game that might be a little fun. It'll be interesting to see how often this is used. I don't see it being used that often because I think the randomness will shy some people away. But at the same time, it could be used more than maybe we'll think. It does only cost you 1 point, so it's really not that much of a gamble unless you get a perk that you already have. So, new, interesting. It's going to get people talking. So, next up we have Hardline. Will give you 2 points, reduces the amount of kills that you need for a kill streak by 1. The whole score system for kill streaks from Black Ops 2 the best way that it's ever been so far in any Call of Duty, of course, has been scrapped because no Call of Duty likes to keep the improvements that the previous one gave us. And we all know how Infinity Ward loves about catering to the noobs. So the support system is back, of course. So hardline, it'll cost you 2 points. I don't expect it to be used more or less than we've seen in previous CODs. It's something that I've always liked using, and it only costs 2 points, so nothing wrong there. Next up, we got a new perk here, Ping. After killing an enemy, it'll activate a sonar ping 1 time that reveals nearby enemies. It's kind of like having a motion sensor for like a second, which is it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a rushing pub stomping perk, which I think could be utilized very well in the correct loadouts. Like say you're using a shotgun loadout, Ping will be very useful to you. As soon as you kill somebody, you're going to know in a short period of time if anyone's in the immediate vicinity that you have to be wary of. In case you aren't using a silencer, it'll ring the dinner bell. Hopefully you'll be able to get the jump on somebody before they can get to you faster. So this could be very interesting. I don't see it being too strong because it's just one little ping. Can't really tell how big it's going to be, but I think it'll be interesting. I don't see it as being too strong, and I don't see it as being too weak. I see it as being new and kind of cool. So that'll cost you 2 points. Next up, we have one of the others of the perks that was not unlocked for people to use, which obviously is overkill. It gives you 2 pictures of 2 assault rifles. So this is going to give you 2 primary weapons. No word on how many points this is going to cost. Same thing with the extra attachment. All things point to both of these unknown point value perks to be 2 points, because the only 3-point perk that we see is Danger Close, and the only 5-point perk that we see is Deadeye. So I'm thinking that both Overkill as well as extra attachment are going to be 2 points each. I don't think it would be very balanced if they made it each of them 1 or each of them 3. I think they're going to be 2 points, but we'll see. I don't see Overkill being implemented that much anyway. Some people are going to use it for certain strategies, whether they like to camp with an assault rifle for long range, and a shotgun or submachine gun for short range, or if they're just doing some weapon swapping montage clips. But it's in the game for those that want to use it, and I don't think anyone's really going to have a problem with that. And last of all, we have a very, very interesting perk. New one as well. The most expensive of all the perks. So it'll cost you 5 points, and that is Deadeye. Consecutive kills increase your weapon damage. The higher your kill streak is, the more damage it will do to enemies. Once again, we don't know the mathematical specifics on what the damage increase is going to be and how that's going to stack per kill. But it's going to be very, very interesting. This could be very overpowered, or at the best, it could be kind of cool. It is going to cost you 5 points, so people can say it's kind of balanced there, but with a potential 11 points at your disposal, I can see a lot of people running this. It could be helpful for the people who are rushing, but it's just as helpful to the people that are camping in a corner. What if you're in a really good camping spot and you get 1 or 2 kills? All of a sudden, you're harder to kill. They're harder for people to kill if your weapon does more damage than your people coming for the revenge kills do. So it'll be interesting to see how this gun works. It depends on how much the extra weapon damage is going to be. It'll be interesting to see how it's used. It does cost you 5 points, so at least it's the most expensive perk. It definitely is the potentially the best perk on the list because it gives your weapon extra damage. You can't ask for anything more helpful than that outside of a ton of health, which you don't really have in this game. There's no Juggernaut, but we won't know until we get to use it. And it'll be very interesting to see how this affects the implementation of the specialist score streaks, because maybe Deadeye will be so good that specialist becomes the way to go because that's the quickest or best way to get Deadeye, or the most cost efficient. The specifics on the specialist score or point streaks has not been given yet because of each perk is not given the same exact value, so that'll be interesting to see how that works out, especially with how Deadeye works. But as you can tell, with 8, 9, 10, or 11 points at your disposal. There's a lot of different ways that you can go. There are some causes for concern with a couple of perks here and there, but we won't know until we know more about explosive damage, weapon damage, resistance of things, as well as score streaks and weapons. So this is what we know so far. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comments always appreciated, and I will see you guys next time.